Thank you, Mike. And one of the events that Mike was referring to is his own birthday. And he's given up his birthday party to be with us tonight. So happy birthday, Mike. Sir Richard Hadley and Diane, patrons, sponsors, especially Link Market Services, and Alan and Unwin are very long-term partners, and all the other companies and people that are listed at the back of your program, and to everyone else here tonight, a big heartfelt welcome. Your generosity over the years has been extraordinary, and we are just so fortunate to have everyone here tonight. So thank you very much for coming. I was just reading again Elise Perry's welcome, and we are really, really proud of Elise. She and Elisa Healy are great ambassadors for the Trust and Batting for Change. Elise, as you all would know, was the ICC International Women's Cricketer of the Year, and today Alicia hit a century in the Women's National Final, and the last time I heard, Elise was well past 50. They are truly great ambassadors for us, and their character is not just shown on the field, but also in their activities off the field. Elisa has played for us several games this year, and she always conducts herself with great spirit, and she's a wonderful person, as is Elise. We're also fortunate to have other ambassadors, Ed Cowan, Steve O'Keefe, Moses Hendrikes, who I'm told scored a century out there earlier on this afternoon, Nick Madison, Stephen O'Keefe, Curtis Patterson, all great young men and women. And of course, the founder of Batting for Change, Ryan Carters, and Mike's mentioned that Ryan has been awarded a Monash Scholarship, and he'll be studying at either Oxford, Harvard or Columbia. He'll be doing a Masters in Government and Public Policy, and we're very proud of Ryan. He's a truly altruistic young man with a lot of brains, and he will go very far in life, and I'm sure that pretty soon there'll be a Batting for Change game being played at one of those universities. We're very fortunate that Ed Cowan, Matt de Groot from Nova, and Ted Alexander, a returning Rhodes Scholar, will look after Batting for Change whilst Ryan is overseas. I don't know about everyone here, but when you do walk out onto the SCG, you get that sort of hair in the back of the neck feeling. And I had the privilege of walking out onto the ground with Sir Richard Hadley, and it sort of brought back a dream that I keep having. And it's a dream that most of us cricket tragics can relate to. The dream goes something like this. I'm, of course, opening the batting for Australia. But I'm playing against the LBW Trust guest speakers. With confidence, I step onto the ground and I do that little sideways movement, and that all the opening batsmen do, and roll my arms and throw the cricket bat around. Mike Holding and Mitchell Stark, true gentlemen of the game, wish me good luck. Ian Botham and Wasim Akram totally ignored me as they gossiped about last night's partying. Gilly and Kumar Sangakkara were actually arguing about who was going to be the wicketkeeper, and strangely they each had a pad and a glove on, but it was a dream. The batsmen, Lara, Richards, Dravid, Steve Waugh, Sheehan, Gower, the Chappells, Laurie and Mark Nicholas were forming a ring of catchers. A long shadow passed over me, as Joe Gardner rumbled by. I felt like a dwarf and my confidence was starting to wane. Henry Olonga was down at Long Leg singing Nussum Dorma, and I'm sure a number of you will always remember that night here where Henry sang that song. Getting ready to take the second over, Dennis Liddy was marking out his run. Steam came from his ears. His hatred for me and all batsmen was obvious. I was now terrified. I took guard and looked up into the clinical eyes of Richard Hadley. He had quickly sussed out my weakness. Third ball was to be an in-swinger, just short of a good length, cutting away, taking the edge, and I was going to be caught by Chappelli at first slip. My dream was becoming a nightmare, especially as I then realised I'd forgotten to put on my box. I don't know how the dream ends, but a great degree of thanks to Mike Coward and Dashak for organising over the years such a lineup of cricket legends. To pick a starting 11 would be an impossible task, but I know for many cricket tragics here tonight, you'll spend the rest of the night and you'll probably go into the early morning trying to think amongst all those great cricketers who would be in your starting 11. You won't get to sleep. We at the LBW Trust do have a dream. We dream that through education, poor students can raise themselves out of poverty and achieve a better life. We believe that the multiplier effect of education, the impact on not just an individual, but on a family, their communities, is mighty. Education empowers, it allows the economically and socially marginalised to enjoy a better life with more access to opportunity. We truly dream that learning will lead to a better world. The World Bank forecasts that by increasing schooling for 15-year-olds by 2 years would help to lift 160 million people out of poverty. Education for women is proven to lead to better health, later marriages, fewer children, higher wages, less domestic violence, and they become empowered to speak up and out. With a higher education, you find your voice. As Nelson Mandela said, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. If you want examples of the power of education, come and talk tonight to 3 of our partners who are here. Ask Pat Price, founder of the Heartland College in Nepal, who is proving that a combination of local and Australian teaching practices can achieve the best outcomes. Ask Samantha Furry from So They Can, who are becoming the role model of teacher training colleges in Tanzania. Ask Mike Coward and Penny Verdict, who chairs our education committee, who both visited Tanzania late last year and returned full of praise for the progress and outcomes being achieved by So They Can. Penny, through the generosity of her employer, Growth Coaching, also ran education masterclasses for the students and their lecturers in Tanzania. Ask Nick Cock from Sports Skills for Life Skills at the University of Western Cape, who was one of our original partners 12 years ago, about what his graduates have achieved and how they are now giving back to their communities. A young man, Lakmal from Sri Lanka, wrote to me, "I am studying in the Faculty of Electrical and Information Engineering. My father is a farmer, he is poor and cannot pay for my education. I have faced a lot of troubles, but thanks to your confidence in me, you reaffirm that my dreams are possible." The LBW Trust, through your support, now educates 3,000 students in 10 cricket-playing countries. We are great local partners and we pride ourselves on good governance. I know it sounds boring, but those who are interested in actually the good management and good governance of not-for-profits, please go on our website and read our annual report for 2017. In that year, we raised a record amount of funds and introduced new campaigns to become a more diversified and sustainable charity. For example, we started Banning for Change corporate T10 corporate challenges at Shore cricket grounds. That involved 10 leading corporations and raised over $100,000. That event will grow and grow over the next 5 years. And we also started a big bash pre-game party here at the SCG, which was also hugely successful and raised a similar amount of money, and they also gave us national television coverage. Our Women for Change group will again this week be showcasing Kenya at a range of corporate and private functions, and led by Christian Stubbins and Virginia Briggs, Women for Change will be launching at PwC a new campaign called Women Standing on Our Shoulders. This is designed to provide mentoring for up-and-coming young women, coupled with fundraising for trust projects focused on educating women. And we are also finalising details for a new project with the Akram Foundation in Pakistan, and Wasim, of course, was last year's guest speaker. It is with great pleasure that I would now like to introduce to you 4 wonderful women. Eleanor Hall is the host of ABC Radio's The World at Noon current affairs program and a Women for Change member. Eleanor will be interviewing Kenya, and for those of you who were here last year, we heard her story and her heroic efforts to gain an education at a simply horrific cost. And that inspired us all to such an extent that we raised enough money to send this year 21 of her graduates to universities and colleges in Nairobi. And I'm also delighted to introduce to you the 2 amazing young Maasai women, Lynette and Sharon, who will be studying here in Sydney in the 2nd semester in July. Through the efforts of Eleanor and Lisa McIntyre, another member of Women for Change, Lynette has been awarded a full scholarship to attend Western Sydney University to study a Bachelor of IT with full accommodation provided by Campus Living Villages. And Sharon has been awarded a scholarship to attend UTS to study a Bachelor of Health Sciences. A further young woman, Magdalene, will be studying a Bachelor of Liberal Arts Science at the University of Sydney as well. To those universities, and to Campus Living Villages, a life-changing thank you. And it is indeed life-changing. And for those of you who are wondering, like we did at one point, about the value of bringing these girls to Sydney rather than helping them go to university in Nairobi, a friend of ours gave us some really wise advice. What he said was, you must send outstanding girls from these countries overseas to study. Who else will be able to stand on the floor of the United Nations General Assembly and to speak for Kenya? And that truly resonated with us. And we expect a lot from the girls, and I know that they're... Whether they make it to that level, I'm not sure. But we do expect a lot from the girls, and this opportunity, I know they will grasp with both hands, and they will do great things. Kenya herself dared to dream big, to sacrifice her body for an education, and to then return to Kenya and the Maasai to create change. To hear about Kenya's dream and the dreams of Lynette and Sharon and their extraordinary story of how they have overcome gender bias, prejudice, ignorance, and avoided barbaric customs and early marriage, to stand before you tonight, please give a mighty LBW Trust welcome to our very special guests.